What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 4 of the Game Room Podcast. I'm Rome.
I'm Dev.
And welcome on into everyone hanging out with us here tonight. This is, again, episode 84 of the Game Room Podcast, where each week we come together and go over the news in the video game world from the last week, react to it, give our takes, thoughts, and sometimes argue. Deborah loves being wrong when it comes to arguments. But anyways, so going to be an interesting show for sure tonight. I don't know if you've even looked at these. So the Game Award nominees came out today. Did you get a chance to look at them yet?
As I was setting up for the podcast, I did.
Okay.
Just for the Game of the Year award, not for the rest.
Okay. So yeah, they were announced today. There is some controversy going on, but I mean that's unfortunately kind of...
one of them stuck out more than the rest.
I'm really curious to get your take on it, actually, because I definitely have thoughts on it, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you think about it. So, yeah, let's just get right started with it. Number one in the headlines, the Game Awards 2024 nominees. So we're just going to go right down the list, give our thoughts. This is also going to kind of double as like a predictions preview kind of thing. We're not going to do another show where we pick winners. We're just going to kind of and go with it. I also have not really looked at this outside of Game of the Year.
Okay.
But speaking of which, let's start with Game of the Year. So the nominees are Astrobot, Black Myth Wukong, Balatro, Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and Metaphor ReFantazio. So I mean, like, let's just get right to the elephant in the room. Insider Gaming has thrown an ad right over the article, which is great by them. Let's get right into the elephant in the room. So Elden Ring being nominated for Game of the Year.
Yeah.
I guess I'll just kind of kick this one off with my thoughts on it. I think that it is... Okay, so let me rephrase this. So I know a lot of times, you hate when we do, report cards on things and grades on things. You think it's kind of dumb. And I understand that. I enjoy doing them from a sense that, yes, they're 100% subjective, but, it's just fun to kind of, I like that kind of discourse personally. And that's why, at the end of the day, the Game Awards are 100% subjective. Just because, whatever game wins Game of the Year doesn't mean it needs to be, it's not the end of the world. That being said, I would like to see Jeff Keighley try to, maintain some sense of structure at the Game Awards.
Yeah,
so last year, there was a lot of stuff with some of the games nominated, like Dave the Diver for Best Indie Game, despite the fact that it wasn't an indie game. It had a publisher. All of these things. So this year, obviously, Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree. I think it's absurd for a DLC to make the Game Awards. I just think it's the most absurd thing. Elden Ring came out last year, and this is not me commenting on the quality of Elden Ring or the quality of the DLC.
Yeah, obviously, I feel like the DLC is good. It's good enough to be nominated. I just don't think it's... Maybe there should be a different category. Best DLC.
Yeah.
Best
expansion.
To a game. Yeah, best expansion.
Yeah. I think that... Look, here's the thing. At the end of the day, for the Game Awards, yes, it's also a look forward. The trailers are the most exciting part at this point, right? The reveals. Mm-hmm. But, it's also meant to be a celebration of games from this year. And I think that by putting Elden Ring in there, a game that, is already a hit, it's already a smash hit from years ago, it doesn't really gain anything from being here. And, I think you're just taking up the spot of another game that came out this year. I don't know what game would take its spot.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. It really rubs me the wrong way, even for something as subjective as a silly award show. I just think, as the years go on, it's becoming harder for me to take Jeff Keighley seriously, unfortunately, because it's just last year the fiasco with the indie game, and I don't remember what, but I know there was 2 other things that happened last year, and it's just and now this year, he even knew that it was going to be a problem, because I didn't put this in my script, but 2 days ago, he just randomly was oh yeah, by the way, just so you know, Shadow of the Erdtree can be nominated. He knew what he was doing. He's hey, DLCs can be nominated for Game of the Year and the awards.
Okay.
So, I don't know. I think it's kind of wrong, but let's...
I mean, I agree with you that another spot should take its place. Maybe the expansion is that good that it could be nominated for the best game edition. You know what I mean? Maybe it was that good and it was...
See, again...
The best game of this year?
My thing is still that, you're... I'm not arguing whether Shadow of the Erdtree is good or not. I'm just saying,
should it be game of the year contender?
Like, here's the thing, right? I know we joke like, oh, you have a bias, Rome. It's like, I'm not even saying it needs to be anything that would like match up with a bias of mine. Why is Helldivers 2 not nominated for game of the year? Helldivers 2 captured the entire like gaming genre, had it by storm from like January when it came out to like April.
I agree with that.
Why is that not nominated here? That is a game that launched in 2024.
I agree.
And I'm sure I don't know. I'm hoping that Helldivers 2 is nominated somewhere down below.
I did see it somewhere.
Okay, well that's good because I'm going into this blind. I wanted to for the sake of the show. Outside of the game of the year, that's all I'd seen. So I don't know, man. I mean, but getting into it, so there's a lot of great games this year. Unfortunately, like I took on like some longer games this year in the backlog, and also Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which was a game that I did play, was a very long game. I didn't really get around to that many nominees this year, so I haven't played Astrobot. I want to. Black Myth I haven't played. Balatro I haven't played.
I've heard a lot of good things about Balatro.
I have too. I've seen it. I know it's like the card game.
It's a card game, but it's also a roguelike. I don't know how that works. People say it works very well.
I'm not a fan of roguelikes.
Yeah, I know you're not a fan of roguelikes. I like roguelikes, and I've heard a lot of good things about Balatro. And it's an indie game, right?
Probably. I want to say probably. I don't know 100% for sure.
I didn't even... Okay, Metaphor wasn't even on the list.
So Metaphor is on the list. That is a game that I really want to play. Like, that's something that like I didn't get to pick it up.
This is going to go with my bias, but I didn't even add it to the thumbnail because on the list that I looked up, it wasn't even on there.
That's crazy and also really not good for it. So... I have played Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and it is probably my game of the year. It's a phenomenal game. I think that there's a lot of padding in it that really kind of slows it down. Back in February, I gave it like a 9.5 out of 10 here on the show. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying it's definitely my game of the year because, number one, the year's not over. I also think having the Game of the Year awards at the beginning of December is kind of weird because it's like, what if Indiana Jones is like the best game that comes out this year? And it's like, well, it's not gonna make any awards this year or next year.
Yeah.
I always think that like you should do awards like early January. Like let the whole year play out. You know what I mean?
I agree with that.
That's just me. But I mean, Jeff Keighley, he announces his nominees halfway through November, which there are still games that come out in November.
Yeah, November is one of the biggest years,
like the biggest months. Yeah, October, November, like those are the two biggest months. Yeah. But, I mean, it is what it is. But, yeah, I loved Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Won't play you in Pokemon Pocket Live. First of all, what's up to Forrest? Returning to the show. Second of all, I haven't done, like, any verses. I'm still just trying to collect them. I'm trying to catch them all, you know? But I'm not... I'll battle you. Like, text me your friend code. You're the one that's not texting me, you know? But outside of Final Fantasy, I really want to play Metaphor and I really want to play Astrobot. So, I mean, I'd be personally pulling for any three of those. But I do love Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
I don't have no race. I don't have no horse in this race.
Mm-hmm.
All those games I've heard great things about. If any of them wins, I think they all deserve it. Except for maybe the DLC.
Again, I'm sorry.
It's probably great.
It's probably great.
It's
disqualified.
Right.
It's disqualified. At no point during going through these, because I see that it is in the next one. Dev got it. But like I see it's in the next category, so I'm going to assume it's nominated a lot today for some fucking reason. It's disqualified from every single list unless there's a best expansion category, which there should be.
Yeah.
If there's not, there should be.
I agree with that. There should be.
Because I just think it's a dumb argument. Like, I played Octopath Traveler 1 this year, and I played content that I've never played before. Does that mean it should be my game of the year? Like, no. It's not how it works. It didn't come out this year. Talk to my agent, aka Dev.
I think he sent it in text.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll figure it out after this. But yeah, no, for sure, Forrest. I'll definitely... next up was Best Game Direction. The nominees are Astrobot, Balatro, Black Myth, Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erdtree, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and Metaphor ReFantazio.
Is it the same?
It's the exact same, and almost every year, Best Game Direction is exactly the same as Game of the Year.
Okay. That's weird, but...
I mean, so, like, I guess Best Game Direction, like... Again, I'm going Final Fantasy.
I'd probably go Balatro only because of the combination of, like, a card game and a roguelike, and somehow it works. I haven't played it, but everyone says it works.
See, when I think of game direction, I am admittedly thinking of a more narrative-driven experience.
I'm thinking of between the narrative and the gameplay. Like, where did that game, the direction of that game, where did it go? Like, because they have a best narrative thing.
They do. That's
category,
fair.
I don't think they really have a gameplay.
Well, I guess I look at it like like a presentation there, like kind of like when you look at like the director of a movie, like the director it's his vision being brought forward. I look at the same for best game direction. It's like hey, who was the best director basically. That I mean I don't know, but again, Final Fantasy on this list is the only one I've played unfortunately. So next up is best narrative. Forrest is still at work. Forrest, how are you still at work?
Yeah, how are you still at
It's
work?
8:30. Probably some chumps.
They don't want to go home.
They're stealing. I don't want to like
I
divulge
don't
too
want
much
to
about
either.
Forrest's job,
They
but
like
like
to go home there.
X is stealing X. Like I don't know. They don't want to go home. We're talking about the Game Awards nominations though.
Yeah.
Which we will do a live stream. I hope for the Game Awards this year. I think last year we tried to, and then like last minute you couldn't make it. But hopefully this year we can do that. Next up is best narrative. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, Metaphor, Refantasio, Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2, Silent Hill 2. I really like the narrative of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Okay.
I really do. I do love Hellblade 2. I know that like you, Ty, and I have talked about it a lot. I really love Hellblade 2.
Okay.
12-hour day. It's literally those two. Yes, so we both got it right. It's literally those two things.
That's funny.
Well, hopefully we're easing the pain of your 12-hour day. I'm gonna go Hellblade 2. I really love the narrative of it. I love Senua as a character and her journey and you know her dealing with her psychosis and everything that's going on with that. So
Now, Silent Hill 2 is a remake, right?
It is a remake, but I don't know how true to the original it is. To be fair.
Okay. Yeah, this is another one I don't like. Again, I've only played one of those games, but I can't imagine it's the best narrative out of all of them. Especially from everything I've heard about Metaphor. I've heard the narrative of Metaphor is what makes it great. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
Next up is Best Art Direction. The nominees are Astrobot, Black Myth, Waking, according to... I know it's Wukong, but it says Waking. Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erd Tree, Metaphor, Refantasio.
I don't remember
and Neva. I know Neva. I think it's the game with like the white fox.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it is.
It is? You looked it up? Okay, yeah, it is. For me, I think that Metaphor, from what I've seen, Metaphor Refantasio just looks like a gorgeous game.
Yeah.
That's going to be the one that I would probably go with on this one.
This one's difficult.
Astrobot looks really good too.
Astrobot is the one that's like, that one just looks really fun. It looks really good. But also Black Myth Wukong. I really like the art style in Black Myth Wukong. So, that's up for anyone, I guess.
Yeah. Next up was Best Score and Music. And the nominees are Astrobot, Final Fantasy Rebirth, Metabirth? Metabirth? I don't know. Silent Hill 2 and Stellar Blade. Ty says Hellblade 2 nominations is a joke. No chance it wins. Literally a mystery game about a chick going crazy. He'll pass. You know what? I just know that Ty is a Persona fanboy, so that's the only reason he's saying that is because he's pulling for Metaphor. But welcome to Ty in the chat. All the same. Ty says, don't get me wrong, Hellblade 2 will win something. And should. But narrative? I think it's a great narrative.
I agree with that part.
I think it's a great story if you look at the over-encompassing story. I really enjoyed it.
Maybe Best Art Direction, which it wasn't
nominated for, which it's a gorgeous game.
Yeah, I think it's part of the best looking game this year.
But Shadow of the Earth, DLC, folks. I'm going to be so heated because like it's going to win something, or Shadow of the Earth.
It's nominated way too many times.
I'm just like, this is bullshit. Like, I hate it here. I just hate it.
Ty, what do you think about that?
I know I talked to him in the Discord, but I'll definitely let him give his thoughts out and we'll react to it. So best art direction, we just did that one, right? So best score and music, Astrobot, Final Fantasy Rebirth, Metabirth, still no idea what Metabirth is, Silent Hill 2, and Stellar Blade. What is Metabirth? Hold on. Dev, give your thoughts on this real quick.
This is another one. I don't know. Music is something that you can't even... You have to experience the game for music and score. So this one I can't even talk about. How did you like the music for Final Fantasy?
It's great. I mean, they always do a great job with it. I love it. I love the Final Fantasy VII Remake soundtrack.
Yeah, I feel like if you're nominated for
I'm
best
having a hard time
music,
even finding this game.
it's probably a misspelled version. Like,
do you think so?
They already misspelled one thing. Cause
that's true. I don't know.
I've never even heard of Metabirth.
I don't know what Metabirth is. I've never heard of this game. Unless that's like... No, I was going to say not that wouldn't be like shortening Metaphor because there's no birth at the end of Metaphor.
I looked up Metabirth game. There's like...
Dev, can you look up like another nomination list? Insider Gaming might have been crazy on this. But in terms of score, I mean, I'm gonna go with Final Fantasy.
Okay.
Again, I think it's great. It's an excellent game.
Yeah.
If you take out some of the padding of that game, this is a 10 out of 10 game. Like, that's my only gripe with Rebirth, is that I just think that there's too much. There's too much. And this is coming from a guy that spent 200 hours in Octopath Traveler. All right?
You know
Which,
too much.
by the way, I completed it.
Yeah.
It's done. It's dead. I don't know if I said that on last week's podcast. Did I?
I think so.
Well, I'm going to say it a few more weeks. 200 hours in a game will do that to you. Next up is Best Audio Design. Astrobot, Call of Duty Black Ops 6, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2, and Silent Hill 2. Real quick before we get into this, Ty says, Jeff has pushed himself into a weird corner with this Elden Ring nonsense. All he had to do was create a whole new category for expansions.
Yeah.
He says that he feels it takes away the shine another game could have gotten. I completely agree.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
I just think you could look back at this year and, like, there's got to be something that could have made it here. And it's like you went with a DLC.
Like you said, Hellblade, or was Helldivers 2.
Yeah, that was the big one I said for Game of the Year. Why is Helldivers 2 not nominated for Game of the Year?
Yeah.
The game took over the entire landscape of gaming from January when it came out all the way to April.
Yeah.
Like, there's just no, like, what's the reason?
Yeah.
What is the reason? It came out this year. Instead, we're picking a DLC from a game that came out in 2022. Not even 2023, mind you. 2022. Like,
yeah, it should have been a separate category.
Again, though, like it's getting to a point where I want to take pride in the Game Awards, right? Because like all other pieces of art, like all other art forms, have like that big award show where there's like, oh, it's so esteemed, you know what I mean? Like to win a Grammy. Insider Gaming is going crazy with the ads right now. I've got like, look, there's 5 ads right now.
You need ad block.
Well, no, I already pay for YouTube Premium.
Yeah, but you don't play for what?
I actually got a deal with Verizon. They actually cut my YouTube Premium down to $10.
Okay, that's not bad.
So no ads for cheaper. Devereaux, get with the times. Clown. Anyways, Ty says, can you imagine Balatro as a nominee? F me. Freaking card game. Might as well put Yu-Gi-Oh! On this. I agree. Where's the Yu-Gi-Oh! Game?
I disagree with that sentiment. If a game is good, it should be nominated for Game of the Year. Card game, like board game, it doesn't matter. If a video game is good, I think it should be nominated. And I've heard a lot of great things about Balatro. But an expansion is a whole separate thing. It's an addition to a game, like you said, that came out 2 years ago. Yeah. So, I don't know.
So, Forrest, the awards, the Game Awards are on December 12th, which is usually a Thursday, the Game Awards. Let me double check that, though. Yeah, Jeff Keighley loves his Thursday showcases, so it's a Thursday. Thursday, December 12th will be the Game Awards. Anyways, back to Best Audio Design. Pocket TCG.
I mean, if a mobile game is good enough, yeah. I don't think it's...
I mean, there is a mobile game category.
Yeah,
I hope it better be nominated.
Yeah, it has to be.
It better be. I'm not even has to be.
It was.
It better be. We're beyond the point of has to be. Like, don't come home, Jeff. Jeff, look at me. Don't come home.
It's gonna be Shadow of the Erd Tree.
The mobile version of Shadow of the Erd Tree.
Yeah.
So best audio design. Look, I mean, obviously, I'm gonna go with Hellblade 2 here. I mean, that's just like the whole point. Like, well, the big like draw of the game outside of the visual and the narrative of it is the fact you have to wear headphones for it. Like, that's kind of like the whole, like, audio design is kind of like the thing that sets Hellblade apart, I feel like. That being said, I just feel like I feel it in my bones that Black Ops 6 is going to win this. Yeah. But I think it should be Hellblade.
It could also be Silent Hill 2. I think horror games really do well with audio. And
it's very true.
So, a lot of good contenders.
Ty says, let's not get it twisted, though, boys. The Game Awards is the best gaming showcase of the year, along with Xbox. He's excited. He's freaking excited. Xbox podcasters saying Xbox is going to show something. Oh, snap.
Of course they are.
Maybe the handheld? Get a reveal?
We're not seeing that this year. If it's a couple years away...
Bookmark that.
If it's a couple years away, I don't think we see the handheld this year. I think
if it's 2 years away, you don't think they reveal the handheld now?
No, I think that's...
Like, now I'm not saying like a whole full-blown like breakdown, but like a quick little 30-second trailer where it's like, the future's now. It's in your hands.
Do you think they're ready to show something for their handheld?
I think they're ready to show it. Like, I don't know if they're ready to show like everything, like a deep dive, but you mean to tell me that they can't do like like here, hold on, hear me out. It's gonna be a commercial. It's gonna be a guy. He's gonna be playing Halo, right, on his Xbox, and he's gonna stand up. He's gonna, I gotta go to work or something. He's gonna get on the bus. He's gonna turn his backpack around, open it up, and he's gonna keep playing Halo on it, whatever it's called. I don't know what it's called, but it'll be that the Xbox.
The Xbox 720. it feels too early. It feels way too early to show.
Ty says, "Long time no see, Forrest. Why did you run away?" I don't know why Forrest does what he does. Because he's working a 12-hour shift now. That's what he does. That's supervisor life. Just like me, I can relate. Yeah. So next up is best performance. Brianna White from Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Hannah Tell from Life is Strange Double Exposure, Humberly Gonzalez from Star Wars Outlaws, Luke Roberts from Silent Hill 2, and Melina Jurgens from Senua's Saga Hellblade 2. Brianna White, I wonder if that's Aerith. Hold on, I actually want to make sure I get this right. Brianna... It's probably Aerith. I'm going to assume. Yep, Aerith. So, yeah. I would say for me it's a toss-up between Brianna White from Final Fantasy and Melina Jurgens from Senua's Saga. I mean, again, Melina always just does such a great job with her performances. Forrest is a professional babysitter for 50-year-old male people. There it is. But, I mean, I'm assuming Hannah Tell is the voice of Max from Life is Strange. Getting Hannah back as Max is really cool. So, that's I haven't played that yet. That's in my backlog. But there's some good picks here.
Mm-hmm.
Next up is Games for Impact. The nominees are Life is Strange Double Exposure, Tales of Kenzera, Closer the Distance, Indica, which I actually really want to play that, Neva, and Senua's Saga Hellblade 2. I forget exactly what Games for Impact does. I think it's like games that give like messages, social messages.
Yeah. I think the first Hellblade would have been a really good...
I think the first Hellblade did win.
Okay.
Oh, right. Yeah, because it shows about like mental illness and like psychosis.
Yeah. But this year, I don't know. Indica looks... I want to play Indica.
I do too. It's on my Xbox wishlist.
Life is Strange is also always nominated for Games of Impact.
Yeah, because Life is Strange deals with like a lot of social stuff as well.
Yeah. A lot of good contenders.
I mean, franchises that I like, Life is Strange and Hellblade, so it'd be nice to see either of them pick up a win there. Best ongoing game, Destiny 2, Diablo 4, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, and Helldivers 2. It needs to be Helldivers 2.
Yeah.
Or Diablo.
Or
Diablo. I think those are the two choices you have. Fortnite's had a really strong year. More on that later today in the show.
It's between those three. I don't think Destiny or Final Fantasy have done anything this past year to like boost themselves up.
So Ty asks, do you think Xbox Series X2 is coming out in 2025 or early 2026? If so, it would make sense to show it at the Game Awards like the original Series X. See? He thinks the same thing. Why not show the handheld?
Maybe not the handheld. I'm thinking more. I think whatever the next big console is.
I think the handheld's going to come out at the same time. Separate SKUs. They're going to come out. It's going to be like the Series X, Series S.
So do you think it's coming out next year?
No, I don't think the console's coming out next year. 2026 at the earliest. But I still think you could announce it. If anything, it might make sense for Xbox to get out in front of the Switch too.
Yeah.
It might. I mean, it's just hey, like get into the.
That's not happening.
I'm saying from a competitor standpoint.
Oh, sure.
It makes sense to get out in front of it and get your name out there first.
No, I agree with that, but that's not happening. They're not getting it out before the Switch 2. I think the Switch 2 is...
No. I'm not saying the console. I'm saying mind share. I'm saying like if you're someone who's if you're someone who's in the market for a handheld, like you want to get a handheld gaming because that's a new craze. I mean, it's not new craze, but
what you're saying though is
if someone's oh man, I really want to get a new high end like gaming handheld, and you're not sure. It's like, well, maybe I'll get the next Switch because I'm assuming it's going to be really much more powerful, right? Like, if Xbox, before it even comes out and says, hey, just bear with us, like, here's the announcement for a handheld, there are people that are going to be like, well, I want to get a handheld, but I want it to be more high-end. They're going to wait for that Xbox handheld.
I don't even think they have a working hardware prototype for it at this point.
I disagree with that. I think they have something.
From what they're saying, like, it's a few years away. They didn't say 1 or 2. They said a few years away.
How much is a few to you?
At least 3.
A few is 2.
I think they just started working on this year.
A few is 2. 2 to 3.
I think they just started working on a handheld this year.
This year, like 2024?
Yeah.
I think
I don't think they started last year. I think they had it in the works. I think because we saw that in the documents.
I think before last year, to be honest. Like, we know that they're always everyone's always working on hardware.
Yeah.
The PS6 is in development right now. You know what I mean? Like, as soon as that Super Switch launches, Nintendo's already working on R&D for the next system, too. That's how it is.
2026 at the earliest. But, like... we're not seeing. We're not going to see it until.
I guess we'll see. I don't know. Next up is Best Indie Game. The nominees are Animal Well. Few is 2. Thank you, Forrest. Like, this guy's like 3 at the least. Like, that's not what a few is.
Yeah, it is. A few years?
A few is 2.
So why not say that?
Because you don't want to say 2. You're trying to be, you're trying to be vague.
Okay.
You're trying to be provocative. Get the people going.
I think a couple years is 2.
No, a few is 2.
But a couple
isn't? A couple is also 2. A couple is 2. A few is 2 to 3, but more so probably 2.
Okay.
I don't see what the problem is. I really don't. I really don't see what the problem is here.
Okay.
Best indie game: Animal Well, UFO 50, Balatro, Lorelei and the Laser Eyes, and Neva. I've heard really nice things about Lorelei and the Laser Eyes and Animal Well, but I mean, I'm going to assume Balatro takes this. I mean, it's been a big hit. So. Yeah.
It's usually more than 2, but not a large quantity. Okay, that's what the internet says. But
well, the internet also, I was gonna say something, but I'm not going to. I think Ty says I think they have a prototype handheld, but they don't want to rush it. Might as well delay it by a year so you can make the product smaller and cheaper. Right, but you can still announce it. Like why are we acting like they can't just put an advertisement at the Game Awards of someone with an Xbox handheld on a bus?
Look at this. A couple is 2. A few is more than 2. I trust Ty. He didn't grow up in the American education system, so.
What do you mean? You were arguing with him a couple minutes ago about something. I forget what it was. But you guys were just disagreeing about something.
Oh, he said Balatro shouldn't be because it's a card game.
There you go. That's what it was. Thank you. I'm sorry. Did you want to give thoughts on the best indie game?
I've heard great things about every single one of those.
I
games,
have too. Yeah.
So it's up for grabs for any of those.
Yeah. Best debut indie game, which I always think is such a weird award. I guess it's not weird, but. Because I think that the games on the best indie game debut, I think personally are better games than the best indie games.
So UFO 50, is that a new game?
I've heard about it. Hold on, I want to look it up so I can know what I'm talking about. UFO 50. UFO 50 is a collection of 50 single player and multiplayer games.
Oh, I have seen it. It actually looks pretty cool, but it's new, right? So why isn't if it's contender for best indie game, why is it not contender for best intro?
Okay, I'm looking at it now. It looks like
it's a bunch of mini games.
Yeah, it's a bunch of 8-bit mini games, kind of Action 52 rip-off or homage, I would assume. Okay.
I get what you mean though. It is a weird separate.
Best debut indie game. The nominees are Animal Well, Manor Lords, Pacific Drive, The Plucky Squire, and Balatro. Is Hercules here? Yeah. He's like, "Where's my sister? You jerk." He probably smells her. Yeah, actually, probably. I haven't played it, but I really just love everything I've seen from the Plucky Squire. That is just such a charming game that is on my Xbox wish list, and I want to play it. Pacific Drive also looked really good. I think that was on PlayStation and PC. That came out earlier this year. That was one that was exclusive to PS5 on console release, but it got really overshadowed by Helldivers. So. There's some really good games there as well. Okay, thank God. Next up, Best Mobile Game. Nominees are AFK Journey. It's not going to win. Balatro, also not winning. Withering Waves, definitely not winning. Zenless Zone Zero, probably not winning. Pokemon TCG Pocket, the clear winner.
It has to.
It has to. I don't want to hear anything else about it. It's over. That's just what it is. I have to give them credit because Pokemon TCG Pocket is the first mobile game, where I am playing every day, more than 2 weeks. It is just in general, it's just in general a great time, and I'm really enjoying it. I log in every day. Man, I got some really cool cards today. I got Alakazam that was looking great, amongst other things. So. Next up, Best Community Support. Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, Helldivers 2, and No Man's Sky. This is the one I think that always wins. No Man's Sky always wins, or Best Ongoing Game. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, Helldivers 2.
Best Community Support?
Yeah, it's got to be Helldivers.
Yeah, it has to be Helldivers 2.
It has to be Helldivers.
Baldur's Gate 3 is a good one, though.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna start speeding up a little bit down this list as we go. Best VR AR game: Arizona Sunshine Remake, Asgard's Wrath 2, Batman: Arkham Shadow, Metal Hellslinger VR, and Metro Awakening VR.
It's probably gonna
It's
be
got to be
Asgard.
Batman.
I think Asgard's Wrath.
I actually want to give a shout out. I think all these games are really good.
Yeah.
Like I want to play all these games.
Yeah.
You haven't brought your Quest over in a while.
Yeah, I have Asgard's Wrath 2, and I'm going to get Batman eventually at some point.
Yeah, like I want to play all these games. These all are excellent. So, you know, innovation in accessibility: Call of Duty Black Ops 6, Diablo 4, Dragon Age, Veilguard, Prince of Persia: Lost Crown, and Star Wars Outlaws. Yeah, I mean we'll see.
Yeah.
Best action game: Black Myth Wukong, Call of Duty Black Ops 6, Stellar Blade, Warhammer 40 Space Marines 2, and Helldivers 2. I love Black Ops 6. I mean, like, I hear Helldivers 2, I get it, but, like, I'm going with Black Ops 6. I think it's an awesome action game, action movie game. Like, it's freaking great, so I'm going to go with Black Ops 6.
All right.
Best action adventure game: Astrobot, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, Silent Hills 2, Star Wars Outlaws, and The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom. Forrest says super hot demo game of the year in VR. It's not. It shouldn't be Zelda. I just want to say that.
Okay.
I'm very. Echoes of Wisdom like disappoints me because it's like it's a gorgeous world and like I love a lot of things about it, but like I really just to this point still am like just failing to get hooked on the gameplay hook of it.
I think in that list, it's probably going to be Astrobot.
I agree. This seems like the Astrobot for the taking for sure. Yeah. Oh my god, these ads! Why is Insider Gaming doing this so they can make the money? I'd rather just pay for YouTube Premium and not see ads. I can't imagine this is how you live your life. You just like
Oh no! If I'm on my laptop, I have ad block. I don't see
you're
ads.
doing your thing
For free.
and it's just Lenovo. I'm never buying Lenovo. Ads don't work for me.
Yeah, they do.
No, they don't, because I'm just like I don't want to buy this now because you're inconveniencing me. Ty says, you know what I realized? Nintendo's major problem isn't Palworld on PlayStation, Xbox. It's Palworld Mobile, which is being developed by Krafton, and it'll be the closest thing to Pokemon on mobile. That's a good point. Best RPG: Dragon's Dogma 2, Elden Ring: Shadow of the Erd Tree, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Like a Dragon: Infinite Wealth, and Metaphor ReFantazio. Well, it's Octopath Traveler 1. I've played it this year. It's the best RPG this year. So yeah.
I'll allow it.
Yeah, I mean Jeff Keighley's allowing it, so who cares? I think it should be Final Fantasy, but Metaphors also looks really good. So, best fighting game: Dragon Ball's Barking Zero, Grand Blue, Fantasy vs Rising, Marvel vs Capcom Fighting Collection Arcade Classics, Multiverses, and Tekken 8. Now, I don't really have much to say about it, but I did see some people upset about this category. Apparently,
Street Fighter came out this year, right?
Jesus. He was in the basket, it tumbled.
Street Fighter came out this year?
No.
No? Was that last year?
That was last year.
Okay.
But I mean, I did see people upset like why like the arcade Marvel vs. Capcom like an arcade collection made it, but there were other fighting games that came out this year that didn't. I just remember seeing people kind of upset about this category. So
it's either going to be Tekken or Dragon Ball.
It'll probably be Dragon Ball. Best family game: Astrobot, Princess Peach Showtime, Super Mario Party Jamboree, The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom, or The Plucky Squire. Forrest says best fighting game: the Marvel vs. Capcom collection. Best family game: I would say Mario Party.
Yeah, I already got one win in that, so I'm taking that W.
I don't remember that.
You don't have picture proof if you want to see it later.
It's probably made with AI. You like to use it on AI,
no,
so I'm not.
It's in your
You probably used AI to create.
I was playing Luigi, and I beat this.
I don't remember that.
You don't remember?
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I came in first place. It was really fun. I went with you when we went to pick up the game. Remember?
I don't remember any of this.
You don't remember?
You're making up stories. What are you talking about?
Stop the count.
Just end the podcast. Just like.
You don't remember that?
No.
That was a fun day.
When did you get that? All right, we gotta move on.
To show everyone.
Come on.
The Luigi.
We're already behind because
You're
Mr.
right.
Producer couldn't find an AI image he wanted.
Yeah.
Jesus. Best sports and racing game: NBA 2K, EAFC, Topspin, WWE 2K, F1 24, Whatever.
Yeah.
These all that. These first of all, most of these games suck anyway. I'm just being honest. Like why is NCAA not nominated? That game fucking blew up this year. What is Jeff Keighley doing actually? Because the NCAA football game was actually good, and it's not nominated. I'm tired of Jeff Keighley. Jeff put zero thought into this. He's like, let's pick the basketball game, the soccer game, 2 racing games, and the WWE game, and call it a day.
I want him to like.
I just don't think Jeff gives 2 shits, to be honest. Like, which if you don't care, don't have it there. Like, why is there a best sports and racing category if you clearly don't care? Because if you did care, NCAA would be here. NCAA, like, look, I'm not a college football game guy, so I'm saying this with no bias whatsoever. That game sold PS5s and Series X's and S's. We know that. It was a great game that came out this year. The best sports game that came out is not nominated. It's like, okay, thanks, Jeff. People named Jeff just irritating the shit out of me. It's my life. Best sim strategy game: Age of Mythology Retold, Frostpunk 2, Kintugami Patch of the Goddess, Manor Lords, and Unicorn Overlord. There's some really good games here, but I would probably go with Age of Mythology or Frostpunk. Those both look incredible.
I've also seen a lot of good stuff about Manor Lords. Manor Lords looks
yeah, that looks really good too. It's a really good year for sim strategy fans. Best multiplayer game: Black Ops 6, Helldivers 2, Mario Party Jamboree, Tekken 8, and Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2. As much as I love Call of Duty, it'll probably be Helldivers. I mean, that's just a game where it's like more co-op than multiplayer, but I think multiplayer is a broad sense of just playing with more than with playing with someone else.
I could actually see Call of Duty winning this one.
I could too. I do love the multiplayer for Call of Duty Black Ops 6.
And like it's the best Call of Duty we've had in a
really long time. Yeah. But I do think Helldivers will win it, probably. More ads. Thanks, Gillette. I'm never buying a Gillette razor. Clearly. Like, I'm just not ever buying a Gillette razor because of this. I'm going to scroll out of it and do a different one out of order. Best adaptation: Arcane, Fallout, Knuckles, Like a Dragon, Yakuza, Tomb Raider, The Legend of Lara Croft. I'm going to go with Fallout. I loved Fallout. It was just a phenomenal show this year. So,
was it best? I can't see it.
Next up is best best adaptation.
Okay.
And then
are the ads covering it?
Yeah, but the ads are gone now. So next up is content creator of the year, aka the I'm getting old because I just never recognize any of these people award.
I know one person on the list.
KSO. Ilowan, Techno Gamers, Typical Gamer, and Usada Pecora. I don't know any of these people. Who did you know?
I knew the first guy, but I didn't even know.
You don't even know what he does. He just
his whole gimmick is that he's fat. I'm not even joking.
Oh no!
Like he's fat and people make fun of him and he overreacts to the comments. And, like I'm not even joking. That's his whole. That's everything I've seen from him is that. So.
Best esports athlete.
Again, these are.
Which this is, by the way,
names are great. I love.
I think that people just like, you need an esports name. Just run your hand across the keyboard.
I think that's great.
So 33, Aleski B, Chovy, Thaker, and then Ziwu, and then ZMJJKK.
Yeah, that last one is.
That's the winner. That's the one you got to pick. That's great. Although I've heard of Faker.
Yeah, I've heard of Faker too.
I've heard of Faker, so. Best esports game: Counter-Strike, Dota, League of Legends, Mobile Legends, Bang Bang, and Valorant. Valorant, probably for me.
I don't know.
I don't know. Best esports team: Billy Gaming, Gen G, Navi, T1, and Team Liquid. I'm going to go with Navi for unrelated reasons, obviously.
I've heard of Team Liquid. I don't know the rest.
I've heard of Team Liquid, and I think that's the only one I've heard of. Most anticipated game: Death Stranding 2 on the Beach, Ghost of Yotei, GTA 6, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, Monster Hunter Wild. I mean, out of these, it's GTA 6.
Yeah, it has to be GTA 6.
Now, is GTA 6 my most anticipated game, period? No. Admittedly, no. Because I'm really, 10 more reallys excited for Gears of War E-Day. That's a personal thing. But GTA 6 I'm very excited for. I think that has to win. Metroid Prime 4, though, is also something that's extremely exciting. Yeah, and then the player's choice or player's voice will be revealed on December 2nd. So we'll react to that. But that is the nominees for the Game Awards. Like I said, we're gonna aim to have a watch along stream on December 12th. So if you're hanging out with us here, make sure you subscribe and come back on December 12th. All right, number 2 in the headlines. I'm not gonna fully read all of these, just the first few. But Phil Spencer did a bunch of interviews last week, and there was a bunch of little headlines that came through. So with firstly, he did a Bloomberg interview. He talks about acquisitions and how they won't rule out doing more acquisitions, but he's looking for deals that could add geographic diversity, including in Asia. Phil Spencer said. He says we definitely want to be in the market, and when we can find teams and technology and capability that add to what we're trying to do in gaming at Microsoft, absolutely we will keep our heads up, Spencer said. Still, there's nothing imminent, and very large deals are probably off the table at present as the company is spending a lot of time absorbing Activision Blizzard employees, he said. Microsoft wants to diversify the teams working on games by looking more to China. The company developed a new mobile version of Age of Empires by partnering with Tencent Holdings, and Microsoft and Tencent released the game globally in October. He said it's been a good area for us to learn from creative teams that have real unique capability. The real opportunity is to partner with creative teams in China for global. In the coming months, designers and engineers will focus on... Oh, sorry. Oh, there we go. Oh, that's weird. So he's talking about the Xbox app. And in the coming months, designers and engineers are going to focus on making the Xbox app work better on existing portable devices and partnering with hardware makers to make sure their products sync with Xbox games and experiences. The Xbox app right now is good rather than great on some of these gadgets, he said. Longer term, I love us building devices, Spencer said, and I think our team could do some real innovative work. But we want to be informed by learning and what's happening now. The company's planned online store for mobile games had been delayed as the group does additional research on the market. Xbox President Sarah Bond had announced the store in May with a planned release date of July, but staffers are still talking to mobile developers, including those responsible for Microsoft-owned IPs like Candy Crush and Call of Duty Mobile, to figure out a plan. There's also a lot of regulatory cases involving Apple Inc.'s iOS and Alphabet Inc.'s Android mobile stores that work their way through courts in various countries. Microsoft still doesn't have an effective way to get its own store on those mobile phones. Trying to see. So a web store would mean somebody doesn't have to go into the App Store to try to install something. But if you still have a way to find the store, Spencer said, we're just hoping, if we build it, they will come. I'm going to bet that doesn't work. Phil said, basically he's saying here, he's talking about the storefront. On the mobile storefront, they want to have it in a way where it's easy to access. If you just make it, people aren't going to just search it out. There's too many options on the mobile storefront at this point, which I think is a smart move by him. That is something they need to figure out of how to really get to these mobile users. You know what I mean?
Now, is he just pushing the Xbox app, or is he going for more Xbox IPs on these markets? Is it specifically the Xbox app?
So it is the Xbox app, and we're going to talk more about that later with Xbox's big push, their new marketing push, and really the front-facing philosophy that they're going to be showing in the future. So that's a great question that we will answer. Xbox. He says that the ball's moving in the right direction, and I think this idea of open platforms where users have more choice, creators have more choice, you see the momentum, right? After releasing the first batch of Xbox games for Sony's PlayStation and Nintendo Switch, Spencer is pleased with the results. Microsoft will do more of that, he said, and won't rule out any game in Microsoft's stable. He says, quote, I do not see sort of red lines in our portfolio that say, thou must not, he said. It's way too early to make any sort of decision on the next version of Halo, he said. So I mean, obviously, this is just kind of reiterating what we've known, that Xbox is really looking into the future. And so I was listening to the Xbox Era podcast today, and they made Special Nick made a really good point where he was saying that Xbox is just really moving through all this fast, but like he like I the way he explained it really kind of was like, for me, it's like, yeah, I just think this probably is where gaming is heading as a whole. Where he said, like, sure, maybe Xbox in the next 5 years is completely open everywhere, and it's just like you can play any Xbox game everywhere, and like whether it be your phone or a PlayStation or an Xbox or PC or whatever, it's all about the Xbox, monthly active users and the ecosystem. Um, he said, like, PlayStation, will they be doing that in 5 years? Probably not as much,
Probably not. No.
but like maybe 10 years. Like if that's just where it's going, that's where it's going. And he talks about his kids, and his kids are growing up and they're watching their favorite streamers, and they're all PC gamers.
Mm-hmm.
So like he said that his son, he'll go to his PS5 and he'll be like, "Dad, can I plug my mouse and keyboard into the PS5?" And he's like, "No, son, you can't."
Well, you can, right?
No, I don't think that's on Xbox. You can. That's a feature on Xbox. I don't think it's a feature on PlayStation. Yeah, it's just that's just not how they're geared. They're geared to just their console, their console ecosystem, I guess is the word I'm looking for. That's Xbox crazy. Is much more open, where it's like, yeah, you can plug a keyboard and a mouse into the Series X and it works. But no, not for PlayStation.
Not even Bluetooth?
I don't believe so. Someone can fact check me on that. If you want, please feel free. Ty, I don't know if you know the answer to that, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't work that way. Ty says in relation to the Xbox app, he thinks that it's another reason why they're not getting the handheld. They just want to improve the Xbox app.
You mean we're not getting handheld at all? Like, period?
No, we know we're getting it. Phil's confirmed we're getting it. So I think maybe he means like getting
anytime
it soon.
Yeah.
Following the Activision acquisition, Xbox cut more than 2,500 jobs and closed 3 game design studios, with the company exiting what management calls a difficult year and amid a challenging mobile game market. Spencer says he feels good about 2025. He says the Xbox business has never been more healthy, he said, citing growth in cloud and PC gaming as well as console usage. The business is performing right now, and I think that means a more healthy future for hardware and the games we build. Spencer said he's also optimistic about the growth of mobile games. He also makes a slight dig here at the PS5 Pro. At least I viewed it that way. A few other people I saw online did too. He says, I feel pretty good about where the industry is going, he said. To reach new players, we need to be creative and adaptive of new business models, new devices, and new ways of access. We're not going to grow with the market with $1,000 consoles. But also, I mean, it is a dig at the console sphere in general, especially with real world events, like with tariffs and whatnot. Like, who knows how much these consoles are going to cost in the future. Price could dramatically be going up. But I think that I don't want to talk. I'll hold that thought because we will get to that with Xbox's new strategy, marketing push, whatever. So another one. So Phil also did a interview with Rolling Stone, with the headline being the Xbox CEO says there will definitely be future consoles. I'm trying to find. So it appears Xbox is no longer just a box. Earlier today, the company ran their new ad spot showcasing the brand new campaign messaging, "This is an Xbox," which we'll talk about in a little bit. Fans are kind of upset about it. They're concerned about the messaging on social media. Fans have expressed displeasure at the idea that Xbox is somehow abandoning the home console market. It's true that this generation of hardware, which is led by the Series X and less powerful Series S, hasn't been a huge success for Microsoft, with reports in May indicating that the PS5 is outselling Xbox consoles nearly 5-1, which, to be fair, it's still doing well. It's just not doing comparatively well.
But I think that's why they're doing this shift.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Many have declared that the console wars are over, referring to the old no-man culture for the rivalry between companies like Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft. Recently, Rolling Stone sat down with Phil Spencer in New York to discuss the future of the brand, and he touched on themes behind the campaign. He says, quote, "It's an interesting topic because we look at the brand as we're changing the brand. It means something different," Spencer said. "It literally was a box when it first launched. It was the direct Xbox. What it's grown into now is more ability. Xbox isn't just one device. Xbox is on your smart TV, on your PC, your phone, and we're in the middle of that transition." To his credit, Spencer knows very well that some fans would ultimately be turned off by the campaign, having said that some people long for the simplicity of a single box, single platform, single game, but also know that today's largest games are bigger than any of the individual platforms. Spencer has spent essentially his entire career at Microsoft, beginning as an intern in 1988, joining the Xbox team at launch in 2001. Knowing the company's past, he believes that the DNA of Xbox remains the same even as the company evolves. Quote, I think the thing that should really have longevity are the games, characters, and worlds. And the platform should enable us to experience those games where we want to play. That's how we think about Xbox today.
100%. I agree 100%.
I do too.
The boxes will go away, but it's the software you put in those boxes is what we remember. That's how we remember a generation.
I agree. I will get into it. I'm trying to get through some of the other headlines before we talk about the marketing push, because that was kind of the whole reason he did these interviews, but he dropped like a lot of stuff around it. Speaking about consoles, Spencer said that he loves that people are buying Xbox hardware, but notes that it isn't a growth market. He says our in Xbox players is on PC and cloud. The console space all up isn't growing across all of them. We love those customers, but in terms of continuing to expand and grow Xbox, it's about PC, it's about cloud, and it's about making our games more available in more places. In regard to whether the company's emphasis on cloud streaming and anywhere devices means that they'll cease developing new home consoles. Spencer had a definitive answer. So basically, sorry, I really butchered that. They were saying in terms of like, well, so you're putting all this effort into cloud streaming and everything like that. What about developing new consoles? Is that something you guys are going to stop doing? He says, we'll definitely do more consoles in the future and other devices. Those other devices are likely to include a mobile version of Xbox hardware to compete with the booming handheld PC that's taken off over the last few years. Spencer alludes multiple times to wanting to create an Xbox handheld, detail he later confirmed with Bloomberg. Asked about whether they will be hardware fresh like Sony has with the PS5 Pro. He doesn't give a clear answer, but implies that it isn't necessary given the diminishing returns developers are seeing with increased horsepower.
That is true.
I agree with that too. I think that, again, I was listening to the Xbox Era podcast today, and Special Nick was like, I don't hate the guys at Digital Foundry, but they've really haven't helped video games, because his philosophy was like, nobody cared about performance until Digital Foundry kind of blew up, and it's like do you care that any of the games in previous generations were running at 60 frames? Because they were. Like, you didn't. Like, Super Nintendo ran at 60 frames per second, but nobody gave a shit about that because nobody cared about frames at that point. And I think that it was a really good point where it's just like, they kind of lost the point where it's like, he talked about his kids, and he's like, well, my kids love Roblox, and like that game runs like shit.
Yeah.
He's like, I watched them playing it, and I'm like, how can you guys play this? Like, it's choppy, it's buggy, it's awful. Yeah. And they're like, but Dad, we're having so much fun. And I think that it's like, yeah, that's a fair point where it's like, me, I'm more of a resolution guy. I've always really cared. I want to see the game in like 4K. I don't give a shit about frames, and I never have.
And I think even both of those things, like resolution and frame rate, I think AAA is the only time I think it should be pushed. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't even know if it should be pushed then.
Not even pushed.
But I know the games to be good.
Yeah, that is way more important.
I would much rather a game frames. Like, everyone was all upset about Starfield not running at 60 frames. I don't give a shit because I loved it. It was great. Like, that's just an example, though. Like, there's so many games that come out and people are like, 30 frames. No thanks. It's like, that's a mistake. That is a bad take. Let's see. Is there any more in this article? So that was pretty much it from that article. Okay, I'm going to try to speed along a little bit. Phil Spencer also did an interview with Steven Totillo of GameFile. There was a fun song. And so if you're looking for more insight into when one of this year's most talked about games is coming to Xbox, we don't have an answer. Speaking with Steven Totillo for GameFile, Phil Spencer was asked about the game and if he knew whether or not Xbox players would get it. Phil says, I do know, Spencer responded, adding that he couldn't share anything else at the time. I believe there is also a quote where he said, I do know, I can't tell you, don't ask me. It was something like that. Yeah. So, next, Phil Spencer gave his thoughts on expansions saying that expansions aren't mandatory for first-party titles. Um, he says that there is no top-down mandate on expansions, and not every game will do them. It's really left to creators and regarding what plan they have for their story. I think it's a great way for us to re-engage players who may be lapsed. I don't like expansions that are manipulative, Spencer says. I want it to have a unique point of view, and I don't want it to be like the third level that you cut before you launched, which I completely agree with. I always remember Assassin's Creed 2 did that, and it was like the lamest thing. It was like they cut chapters like 12 and 13 out of the game, and they're just like, oh, that's these two things. It's like, oh, that's weird. And then like 6 months later, it's like, hey, you want to play the missing chapters? I don't know if you remember that, but like,
no, I don't.
They're not even very good chapters comparatively. Like, they are the weakest parts of the game, in my opinion. But it's just like, in hindsight, it's like, man, what a dick move by Ubisoft. Just cutting levels out of the game completely. He says that he would blame Digital Foundry really product of the environment. Think about it, Series S is the most consumer-friendly product, but these jabronis attacking it nonstop. Yeah, I agree with that. Let's see. What else from Phil Spencer? Phil wants to utilize Xbox's own IPs rather than rely on licensed games, which is a discussion that we've actually gone back. I know Ty and I have gone back and forth with. I think you as well. I think they should do both. You should definitely utilize your own IP and really build those up. But there's nothing wrong with calling Disney and saying, "Hey, can we make a Blade game?" I think you should do both, personally.
I think you should do like.
It should be like 70-30. It should be 70-30. Or like 75-25, something in that ballpark for me.
Before the acquisition of Activision Blizzard, I would have said that. Now that you have Activision Blizzard, you have
that's true.
The list of IP underneath you. Guys, stick with that. Stick with it.
I know, that's fair. I still want them to make games like Indiana Jones and Blade, though. So like, all right, 90-10 then.
90-10, yeah.
90-10.
Yeah.
Again, you want to get into pop culture, build your own IP, but also bring in more people.
I agree with that.
I'm gonna skip that one. Actually, it wasn't that big of a deal. Phil also tried to make this weird spin about so Xbox didn't have a Fallout game ready alongside the Amazon show.
Really?
And he tried to spin it as a good thing. That they didn't have a Fallout game ready to go. And he basically...
So they did have a Fallout game?
No, they didn't. There was no Fallout game that came out when the show.
Okay.
And Phil was trying to spin it that it was good that they didn't have a game ready. And he basically says that, like, well, creatively, we were able to focus on just doing the show as opposed to trying to creatively make two different things. And Ty and I were talking about this in the Discord, and I think that this is kind of what happens when Xbox tries, or let's say Microsoft actually. Let's take a step back, and this is a Microsoft one, where Microsoft looks at their IPs and they say, okay, or their companies and say, okay, we own Xbox, we own Activision, we own Bethesda. These are all separate entities. And I think that Xbox was completely caught off guard by the success of Fallout because of how not hands off, but how Bethesda is its own entity. And if Xbox wants to avoid something like that in the future and not be caught off guard by what their teams are making, I would have said just have all of them join under the Xbox Studios banner personally. Like, obviously the studio names are all the same still, and you still have the studios and they're their own studios, and maybe there's some, autonomy, but like Xbox had no idea that the show, like, probably had no idea it was going to be a hit. Otherwise, they probably would have pushed for more Fallout stuff to be ready around the time the show came out.
Yeah, I guess
the show was announced before Xbox even bought Bethesda.
Yeah.
Like, it was, like, I'm pretty sure anyway. Like,
and at the time, because Bethesda's already, their roadmap is always like 15 years ahead. Like, they already know what they're going to do for a long time, and I don't think there was a Fallout game in that works.
But I think there's always rumors. I mean, like, obviously there's rumors about the Fallout 3 remaster, and maybe it's not ready yet. Like, there's just things that they probably, who knows? Like, if you're
remaster would have been nice.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're 2 years out and you're like, hey, this show is happening and it might do very well for us, it's like, oh, well, let's try to, like, Phil Spencer should have been like, hey, that Fallout 3 remaster, let's get a few extra guys on that so see if we can get it ready by the same year. Or something like that. I don't know. But so. And then lastly, the last thing that I had a note of, that's my first time on the Blue Sky website. It looks exactly like Twitter. It's really great. Last thing about it was very interesting about Call of Duty Black Ops 6 is Xbox is actually the most popular platform for Black Ops 6. That is the first. as it should be. It's the first time since 2014's Call of Duty Advanced Warfare where the number one platform is Xbox. Which is, I think, great. I mean, again, it's really showing, like...
You spend $70 billion, it better be the number one game on your platform.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, in terms of, like, more people are playing it on Xbox than PlayStation. That's more so what it is.
That's what, I know.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. It should be. You spend that much money, you should make it so that people are playing.
I think it's a really...
I think Game Pass is a big...
I was about to say.
Yeah, it's 100% Game Pass. Like,
I got to own up to my mistakes. Well, not my mistakes, but, like, over the past year, like, I was definitely skeptical about, is Game Pass sustainable? And, like, we've said it, like, Black Ops 6 is the big test. And, like, obviously, it's still really early. We're in the same... Like, it hasn't even been out for a month yet. Next week it will have been a month. But, like...
I also feel like
it's doing really well.
It's probably more sustainable for first-party games. But either way, I think Game Pass is the whole reason Call of Duty is the biggest on Xbox right now. Like,
probably, yeah.
And I think it's going to be like that moving forward. It has to be.
It should be.
Yeah.
Again, it's your own IP. Like, your ecosystem should be the strongest place to play your games.
Yeah.
All right. Ty says Xbox's lack of control over its publishers actually hurts the brand. He says Bethesda will do what's best for itself, not what's best for Xbox. Remember the Indiana Jones One More Thing? That's exactly what I'm talking about. Like, that's something like, if Xbox was controlling that messaging, they probably would have done it differently because they know that their core audience on the Xbox, while they understand that audience may not grow.
But
so I do think genuinely that Phil looks at it like this. The Xbox community, the Xbox core users who play on Xbox and want... The people that are upset about Xbox losing exclusivity, I guarantee you that Xbox wants to keep those customers, and they want to keep having them there. That's why they're going to make another console. And you know what? Honestly, there may be another console after the next console. Now, is it going to be something that they actively push heavily? Probably not. But if there's a customer that wants to buy a console, they're going to make it.
But in regards to this, do you think that push? Do you think Bethesda went out and made a showcase and didn't filter it through Xbox? Do you think Xbox said, "Hey, do whatever you want with this time frame"?
I think there's a real chance. I think there's a real chance.
I can't.
I think there's a real chance. All three companies run under different autonomy. They all have different heads that do different things, and they all just report to Phil. So it feels like, okay, Machine Games, we got you this time slot. Go ahead and show Indiana Jones at Gamescom, and that's what they did.
And you don't think there was no mention of, hey, we're going to tell you it's out on...
I mean, maybe, but I think Ty's right. I think that there's definitely like some lack of vision of what Bethesda is. Like, again, Bethesda's going to do what's best for Bethesda. Like, the whole reason that Bethesda games... If you remember, like, the exclusivity argument, right? And, like, they were talking about, like, people internally, like, how they feel. A lot of the people at Bethesda wanted their games to not be exclusive because the way Bethesda did their bonuses was based off of copies sold. Mm-hmm. So for them, it didn't make sense. Like, for the employees, they were like, well, we want our games everywhere. Instead of Xbox changing the quota...
Okay, Ty said Jez confirmed that Xbox was pissed. Okay.
Okay, yeah. Oh, that's true. Yeah, he's right.
That's crazy. I would have... Okay.
Right, because remember we talked about here on the podcast where they were like, "Hey, put a pause on the porting to other consoles." Like, they didn't stop it, but they put a pause on everything because they were just like, "We reported on this like a few weeks ago." Mm. But it's like, yeah, it's just like, if Xbox wants to better help their brand, like, there needs to be some more control there. Where, like, it shouldn't be like, well, the head of Bethesda, the head of Xbox, and the head of Activision all operate separately. Like, it's okay if they supervise it, but, like, at the end of the day, like, there needs to be a more uniform or more focused vision of the Xbox brand. And I think that's really where they kind of are messing this up, where, like, it shouldn't be like, well, Activision do what's best for Activision. Like, no, Activision should be doing what's best for Xbox.
Yeah. Like,
that doesn't mean that they have to be exclusive. It just means that, like, hey, like, make those decisions accordingly. Same with Bethesda. Same with, like, it just needs to be.
I agree, but I think it's going to take a little while. Like, they're such big companies.
They are.
Bethesda should have been done already, but, like, Activision Blizzard's going to take a while. It's such a big company. Yeah. I don't know.
So, next up in the headlines, number 3 is going to be why Phil did all these interviews. Xbox launched its new ad campaign Microsoft has been trying to expand Xbox to multiple devices for more than 5 years now, and it's launching its new marketing campaign to make it very clear that it thinks every screen is an Xbox now. The new This Is an Xbox campaign launched last week to the position that Xbox brand as a way to play games across multiple devices instead of just a console. This Is an Xbox invites people to play with Xbox across multiple devices and screens, explains Craig McNary, Senior Director of Xbox Marketing. It showcases the evolution of Xbox as a platform that extends across devices with bold, iconic, fun visuals and a lighthearted tone in the marketing. So yeah, this is basically just them pushing to what their future vision is, where it's like, hey, like your phone is an Xbox. Your laptop is an Xbox. Your ROG Ally is an Xbox. Your Series X is an Xbox. Your Smart TV is an Xbox. And I know that people are upset about it, and I think that my concern since day one has always been the ecosystem, right? Where it's like, I don't care if more people get to play Gears of War, right? I love Gears of War. I have a guy I work with who, like, me, him, and this other guy, we talk about Gears of War, and like he and I have played Gears of War, but the third guy, he grew up on PlayStation, so he's never played Gears of War, and I'm just like, Gears of War is so incredible. It is just one of my favorite franchises. It's so good. I don't care if more people get to play Gears of War. I just don't want the Xbox ecosystem that I play on, that I spend a lot of time and money on, to go away. And so like if Xbox is doubling down, they're just like, hey, like, we are committing to the ecosystem that is Xbox. For me, that's the most important thing. And like, that's kind of like, obviously it's just marketing. Marketing's marketing.
Yeah.
But the fact that like this is what the brand believes, this is their message outward, is like, hey, we're not just saying, hey, go buy Call of Duty on your mobile device. Like, that's not the message that they're giving here. They're not saying, hey, do you know you could play Call of Duty Black Ops 6 on your phone and everything else? Like, that's not what they're saying. They're saying, hey, do you know that you can enter the Xbox ecosystem on all these devices? For me, that's the bridge where I'm willing to be like, okay, that's the vision. As long as you're not going to compromise that, which is the ecosystem, I think it makes sense, and I'm fine with it.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on it?
I don't know. I the more I hear about the future of where they're going, I'm still skeptical about it. It feels like they're trying to do way too much at the same time, and that's the part that scares me. When you're trying to do too much, nothing gets 100% attention and love it needs, and things fail. Things start to fall apart. So
sometimes says people are overreacting to the ad. The ad is fine and good, sure, from a detailed point of view. The funny thing is, I haven't seen a lot of people overreacting about it, but it's mostly because I'm like not on Twitter.
Yeah, I actually haven't seen anything bad about it. I haven't seen anything good.
Well,
about it.
Here's the thing. I know that there are people out there that are upset about it, and I totally understand it. As someone who like I just
went through this like a year or two ago when all this started to happen.
It was this year. It's been a long year. It's been a long year. It was January. It was February.
Okay.
But no, like the thing is like I totally get it. As someone who like I own all 3 platforms. I play games wherever I can. Like, but I love consoles. Like I love the console model. It's it's how I want to play my games, right? Like my Switch, I'm not a handheld guy really. My Switch has stayed docked for like 90% of its life. You're different. Like everyone's different. But like I'm a console guy. So like I understand the fear and the concern of the Xbox console going away. I'm here to say that I personally don't think that makes much sense for them. They're going to push other avenues more aggressively? Yeah. Yes. But again, like, and Phil said, and again, like, all these things are very heavily, like, crafted, very meticulously. Everything Phil says, whenever you have these guys go and do these things, they're very meticulously planned out.
Oh, yeah.
When Phil says, we love our console customers, but we want to grow elsewhere, that's them saying, we're not going to abandon the console customers. We're just not going to, like, you're not going to be the focus because you already are you're in.
Yeah.
Like me, like, Phil Spencer doesn't need to sell an Xbox to me.
Yeah.
He just doesn't. Like, Phil does not need to sell the next generation of Xbox. I'm telling you right now, without knowing a single fucking thing about the next Xbox, I'm going to buy it.
Yeah. He knows that. He said...
And I hope it has Steam integration. Please, Phil. Please, Steam integration on my Xbox.
Honestly, I hope it's just a PC. I hope it's just a PC at this point.
On a box, yeah. Give me an Xbox, and it's like... It's inside, it's... Well, I mean, for them, that's their challenge. Can they integrate those operating systems? I guess, but like, we'll see if that happens. But like, yeah, again, for me, like, that's kind of the takeaway where it's like if you're able to commit to that, like, I don't need to be like. Like, I don't know how to say this without sounding spoiled. Like, I don't need to be the focus of your attention. As long as you're giving me my box and you're giving me all these great games and you're letting me use Game Pass, especially in the all digital future, because that's the model I want in all digital futures. Like, okay, that's fine. You're giving me everything I want, and so like, if you guys want to grow as a business, be my guest. But that's for my own sanity. It's kind of how I have to look at it. But I think that makes sense because everybody can win at that point. Number 4 in the headlines, really cool news. For the record, I almost never buy microtransactions in games. I can't tell you the last time I did. But there is rumors that Halo, Doom, and Gears of War are going to get collaboration 6. This news leaked from Call of Duty data mine, including COD on X, because it is X now. Okay. Now it's X. So these guys are talking about these collaborations. So down. Like, I will buy a Master Chief skin. I'll buy Gears of War stuff they put out there. I will Slayer, definitely more so Halo and Gears. I think that would just be badass. We still got to get you on Black Ops. You haven't played it yet. But games we have played, number 5 in the headlines. TCG Pocket confirms trading is coming in January. Thank God. Like that waiting on at this point, because we were talking before we went live. Like, you've got a few doubles of EXs and I have a few duplicates of EXs. It's just like, okay, well, January will be here soon.
But you'll only be able to trade certain cards.
Yeah. Say that, I know. They're gonna be like, well, not the leprosy EX. I'm just gonna be like, damn it.
Yeah, I would have to imagine like promotion. Time promotion. Imagine them trading.
I hope Deborah, shut up.
I'm just saying.
I just need them to. And next, data mine also revealed that the next event is going to be a Venusaur EX battle event scheduled for December 2024. It's going to have an Ivysaur deck, Venusaur and Scyther deck, Venusaur EX deck, Venusaur EX and Lilligant deck.
Nice.
So yeah. We're just going to move right along. Number 6 in the headlines. This was a story. The GTA Definitive Edition Trilogy got an update that actually, like, it saved it.
Yeah.
Saved it.
After
so it received a major update which brings some enhancements from the mobile port to the console and PC versions. According to a report by Rockstar Intel, the Definitive Edition received an update for Xbox, PlayStation, Steam, and Epic, and Rockstar Games Launcher. For those wondering, the Definitive Edition trilogy consists of San Andreas, Vice City, and GTA 3. One of the most requested features from the GTA trilogy Definitive Edition has been made available to consoles. It's called Classic Lighting. With this toggle, players can bring back the look and feel of the sky in the original games. I don't know if you've seen the videos.
I saw it's like orange, like a hue, like
and it looks great.
Yeah.
And then did you see the one where he's in the jet in the air?
I don't think so.
I have to show you when we get done.
Okay.
But like, holy crap! Like when you put the actual lighting and the fog on there, like I have to
show me
like you won't be prepared. You're not prepared for the difference.
Does it show you both?
Yeah, like cool. When I show you this, you're gonna be like, wow, like it's insane. Like I can't even words aren't doing it justice.
Okay.
Look it up, please. Not just you, but everybody. Moreover, the GTA Definitive Edition trilogy update also brings other improvements. There have been some enhancements to character models, which was a big thing about the original.
Yeah, that was...
With the swimming animations feeling more natural. Players can now shoot while running in GTA 3 and Vice City. Streetlights are now orange and have received a flare to feel like the original games. Lastly, Grove Street Games, the developer, are now only mentioned in the game's end credits. They were taken off of the beginning of the games. Which well-deserved. Honestly, fuck off.
It sounds like Rockstar fixed this.
Rockstar was like, get out.
Yeah.
You've ruined this.
Yeah.
You ruined us. These are the best games we've ever made, some people say. And like this is just like this picture alone right here is just like,
yeah.
Like look how like it looks so bad here. And then like this is just like That looks so much better. Now, again, so GTA Trilogy, Rockstar did remove the developer credit following the major update, which I guess, yeah. So, so they removed it, but the developer responded, and they called the act a dick move. Um, One of the most notable changes was the removal of Grove Street Games' logo at the start of each game, and references to them in the game's copyright blurb. So they took them out of the copyright blurb. Even they're like, you don't even get to be part of the copyright. We don't even want to be associated with you. Their staff do remain in the game's credits, though. Grove Street Games CEO Thomas Williamson has responded to the move, which seemingly came as a surprise to him. Writing on X, the owner criticized Rockstar for the opening credit removal and claimed the team was behind hundreds of fixes added in the recent update. Speaking entirely hypothetically, it's a dick move to remove primary developers from credits in an update, especially when an update includes hundreds of fixes that were provided by those developers that stayed out of players' hands for years, he wrote. I understand. Here's the thing, right? Here's my problem. And no matter who's to blame, you guys made this game, and it was a travesty. God awful. I 100% in San Andreas, strictly for the love of the game. And it was a nightmare. You would come over and you'd be like, what are you doing? I'm like, I fell through the ground. It's like, it was just awful. So I really don't feel bad for the developer. It's like, hey, maybe next time, like, just do a better job. I don't know. I don't think it's a dick move. Do you think it's a dick move?
A little bit.
They're still in the credits, though.
Yeah, they're still in the credits, at least.
If they took them out of the credits, I'd be like, that's a step too far. But when I boot up San Andreas on the Definitive Edition, I don't want to see Grove Street Games. Like, that's just like, no. Get out of here. Like,
but like they said, a lot of the fixes you can attribute to them. So, I don't know.
I would push back saying, well, they're still in the credits. Number 7 in the headlines, Fortnite OG is coming back permanently in December, and by OG, that is the original map from, what was it, Season 1, Chapter 1, I guess they would call it. So Fortnite players can enjoy that.
Come back permanently?
Yeah, coming back permanently, yep. Number 8 in the headlines, Avowed is available for pre-order now. The game is releasing February 18th.
Don't pre-order games.
Yes. So, they announced the editions. There's the standard edition. You can play it day one on Game Pass. It comes with the game. 2 premium skin packs for your companions. They have the digital premium edition for $90. It's a base game, 5-day early access, 2 premium skin packs, and access to a digital art book and soundtrack. Now they do have a steelbook edition for $95, which comes with the game in a code, not a disc. 5 days early access, 2 skin packs, access to digital art book soundtrack, the steelbook, and a map of the living lands.
That's cool.
It is really cool. So here's what sucks for me. I was really hoping that they were going to do what they did with Starfield. Starfield had that steelbook edition, which was $30, and it came with early access, the Shattered Space expansion, and I forget what else, but something else.
Some patches.
The patch, yeah, the patch is right here. Hey, it's right here. But so I thought I was hoping they would do that again. It doesn't seem like they are because they're doing the steelbook thing still.
But it's part of the larger.
Yeah, package. I don't want to spend $100 because I'm going to play the game on Game Pass. So it kind of sucks because I really want the steelbook, but I don't want.
It's a gorgeous looking steelbook.
It really is. The same thing is with Indiana Jones, where they also have a similar thing where it's like a steelbook with some stuff, and I want to get the steelbook just to put it on the wall, but I don't want to spend $100 on it. So it kind of. I mean, know.
Keep your eye with it. Maybe they'll do a cheaper version with.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. Number 9 in the headlines: Blizzard is hiring for an open world shooter. Many are speculating it's going to be a StarCraft shooter. Multiple roles, including associate design director, senior designer, and principal designer, for an unannounced game are being advertised. Several of the job listings reference an open world shooter game. No further details at this time, but like I said, people are speculating it's going to be a StarCraft shooter. Speaking of Blizzard, number 10 in the headlines, Blizzard released, during that Warcraft Direct that we talked about, they released Warcraft Remastered and Warcraft 2 Remastered. Really head-scratcher here, though. So they announced them, and they're available on PC, but they're not on PC Game Pass. And I thought that was just really bizarre. They're selling them. I don't even think that they're really like full price games. Like I think you could buy the battle chest for $40 and it comes with 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, I don't know why we
But,
thought
like-
they were coming to Game Pass because I 100% thought they were coming to Game Pass. I thought that was what the announcement was,
Yeah,
and so I'm confused. Maybe I misread something.
it's
I
first party. It's
misinterpreted.
Blizzard. Like
Yeah.
I don't understand why it's not coming to Game Pass.
Yeah, this is another weird thing.
And like they just had StarCraft come to Game Pass. Maybe that's why. Are they going to maybe wait and let it trickle down? I guess. But like I don't know. You're celebrating Warcraft's anniversary. Like why would you not just say? And they launched it that day. Like these are available now.
Yeah.
It's like why would you not? And like I think like if you buy them a la carte, like Warcraft 1 Remastered is $10. They're selling this for $10 and it can't get put on Game Pass?
Yeah.
That's just weird. Like I remember looking at this, I'm like, this is exactly what I thought they were going to announce, but they didn't bring it to Game Pass. And I'm just like, that just leaves me kind of confused. Like, I don't know if maybe the goal is to bring it to Game Pass eventually. Like, I'm definitely not buying these. Like, not any disrespect to Warcraft, but like, I'm assuming they're coming to Game Pass at some point. And maybe you're just trying to get those like stragglers to buy them, I guess. I don't know. For me, it's a complete head scratcher, and it made absolutely no sense. So, number 11 in the headlines: the Splinter Cell movie got canceled because they just couldn't get it right. I don't know how you can't get Splinter Cell right. You had a great line in the Discord where like you said, well, they can't even get a Splinter Cell game right.
Yeah. So.
It's like it baffles me because it's like you just had to make a spy espionage generic ass movie and throw Sam Fisher with the goggles in there, third echelon. Like you just have to make a generic spy movie and then throw the lore into
copied an entire different spy movie.
Yeah, you could have like sat down and watched like the Hitman movies or like any of the spy movies, but no, just
you could have taken a Mission Impossible, reskinned it with Splinter Cell over it.
Yep, no sense.
Yeah,
I have no answer for that. That's just crazy.
Yeah. They don't know what their franchise is. It's...
Ubisoft's having a bad year. Which is funny because it's like I think about like the Game of the Year, the Game Awards, and I'm just like, man, I really thought that Ubisoft was gonna have a great year. I thought it was gonna be like, I thought we were gonna be sitting here in December like Star Wars and Assassin's Creed. Like what a 1-2 punch. I said that like multiple times. Like what a 1-2 punch that is for Ubisoft. Just like okay.
It was definitely a 1-2 punch.
Knocked me right down. That would be how I would describe 2024. A gut to the punch to the gut.
Yeah.
Right down. Horizon Online could launch next year, according to a job listing. Where was it? Per a recent job listing, though, it looks like the team is preparing to release the live service Horizon title in some form next year. Jason Schreier suggested that the game hadn't been shelved amid a restructuring effort at PlayStation. In January, the leaks... Where's the listing? There it is. The listing at Guerrilla Games is to be working on an online project, and they'll need to be available in the first half of 2025. In the listing's description, it stated that they'll help to ensure the game is prepared for launch. So, yeah, probably the second half of 2025, you would think. Atom Fall has a release date, number 13 on the headlines. That was the game that was shown off at the Xbox Game Showcase in June. The game is coming out March 27th, 2025. That will be a day one Game Pass release. I'm really looking forward to it. It kind of has the Bioshock vibes. So, definitely down for that. Deborah, do you like breakfast?
I love breakfast. You know this.
Well, number 14, Xbox is partnering with IHOP. IHOP, the official breakfast of Xbox. That's on their ads.
That's great.
They're the official breakfast of Xbox. If you like IHOP, which we both do.
Yeah.
If you like Xbox, which we both do. If you like Indiana Jones, which we both do. Devereaux, I think we're going to be going to IHOP for a few Sundays now for breakfast. Ready for an epic breakfast adventure as Xbox gears up for the highly anticipated release of Indiana Jones and the Great Circle on December 9th. We're teaming up with IHOP to serve up it actually really does. Serve up a breakfast spread fit for a legendary adventure. This is such PR speak. Starting November 18th, IHOP guests can dive into the special Indiana Jones and the Great Circle inspired menu, featuring the debut of fully loaded French toast and signature beverages, including the Explorer's Caramel Apple Butter Hot Chocolate.
Oh, that sounds
That
great.
sounds really good. And the long-lost Cookie Butter Milkshake. But the adventure doesn't stop there. Become an International Bank of Pancakes member. That's their new membership program. And upload your IHOP receipt to earn Pan Coins.
Okay.
That you can redeem for exclusive Xbox-themed prizes in the IHOP Stack Market. So you can basically get this Xbox console, for this IHOP console.
Is it a sleeve or is it a console?
Let's see.
Because I think the move is we go to IHOP, we get separate checks to double our points.
Well, so here's the thing. So as the official breakfast partner of Xbox, exclusive merchandise was created for the IHOP stack. This is what I want to go for, actually, to be honest.
The cups.
Glasses. Hopefully they're glasses. Most notably, a set of limited edition collectible glasses nodding back to 80s nostalgia. The glasses feature original artwork by Matt Taylor from Xbox and spotlight iconic titles like Indiana Jones, Halo Infinite, Sea of Thieves.
Nice.
I know, I like the Halo one. I like the Xbox one, too. Alongside a limited edition IHOP gift card series sporting similar designs. Over the coming months, IHOP will host Xbox-themed sweepstakes in the stack market, including so it's an actual console, a custom IHOP-themed Xbox.
It looks nice.
It does.
It doesn't look anything IHOP related, but it's
no, it says nice. IHOP right down there on the left side.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
It says IHOP, but the O is an Xbox symbol.
Okay. But the blue, I like the blue.
It's a nice blue. If you like blue, it's definitely a nice console. So I actually saw on Blue Sky today how much these glasses are. So you scan your receipts, you get points. So to get one glass, it's $75 worth of receipts.
Okay.
To get the whole set, it's $350 or $375.
Yeah,
now here's the thing that sucks. The $75, so the glass, say you redeem it, it's a random. You don't get to choose the glass, which is why if you want to get the whole set, you can either get a random glass or you can get the whole set.
So the whole set is okay. Yeah, I would just imagine just go for the whole set. We'll just eat at IHOP for like.
That's gonna be the thing. I actually plan on telling Jackie so it's the promotion started today on the 18th, I believe.
That's funny.
So we're gonna be going to IHOP every Sunday, Deborah. You can come with us if you want. You don't have to, but that's what we're going to be doing for the foreseeable future.
I won't get a glass, but
I actively want the glass. Okay. Like, I really want this one, the Xbox one, or the Halo one. But the Indiana Jones one looks cool. See if knowing my luck, I would do the random one. I would get the Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Get 5 Flight Simulator glasses.
No. Oh no. Anyways, so we're gonna be going to IHOP. Everybody go to IHOP. IHOP's good anyways. Like, I like IHOP. It's not my favorite breakfast place, but it's good. Mm-hmm. And now Nifty 50s gets Xbox glasses. It's over. Number 15 in the headlines. Nintendo has sued a streamer. Do you know how that streamer responded?
How did they respond?
By saying, I can do this all day.
He's dead.
He's Captain America. This man is Captain America, standing up after getting beaten up by Thanos. He's like, I can do this all day. Nintendo has filed a lawsuit against Jesse Kane, who it says streams games on various online platforms under his username EveryGameGuru. According to the company, Kagan is a recidivist pirate who has obtained and streamed Nintendo's leaked games on multiple occasions. The lawsuit alleges that since 2022, Keegan has streamed at least 10 of Nintendo's leaked games before they released, more than 50 times in total. The most recent being Mario and Luigi Brothership. Nintendo says it has submitted dozens of takedown notices, and platforms such as YouTube and Twitch have shut his channels down. It says Keegan continues to unlawfully stream Nintendo's copyrighted works and thumb his nose at Nintendo and the law. Now, the funny thing is,
this guy's dead.
He's totally doing that to Nintendo at this point.
Yeah.
Like, he is, like, thumbing the...
Yeah.
Which I love how they're just like, because that's disrespectful.
This is the one... But
putting your thumb at us.
They're definitely in the right here, and this guy, he's gonna get the ninjas. They're gonna sue him for like $10 million. He's never gonna be.
I do love that he's still just like, even as a tree, he's like, I can do this all day.
Yeah,
it's like, this is it. This is the end of the line for me.
You have to put him behind bars to stop this man.
Yeah, no, he's gonna be paying them while streaming their games and asking for donations.
It sounds like,
and people will do it. People will pay. Will cover his bail.
That'd be hilarious.
Keegan is also accused. It also claims that Keegan taunted Nintendo, sending the company a letter boasting that he has 1,000 burner channels to stream from and can do this all day. My God, this man is a hero. My hat is off to Keegan. This man is saying, "Oh yeah, Nintendo wrote him a letter. He wrote a letter right back. He's like, I can do this all day. I've got thousands of burner accounts." Keegan is also accused of continuing to seek profit off this unauthorized streaming of Nintendo games by adding Cash App details to his streams after his channels were demonetized. On top of all the above, Keegan is also accused of regularly posting links to ROM. This is Nintendo's Hitler.
Yeah.
This is Nintendo's mustache man. Yeah. This man is the ultimate evil in Nintendo's eyes. He's writing us letters. He's streaming our games. He's downloading ROMs. This man is evil. And he's probably like, and I also think the Pokemon game should be made available. Just like, on top of all that, he's also doing ROMs, emulators, all that stuff. Quote, by not only streaming leaked games, but also directly providing user... I can imagine Nintendo sounding so mad when I'm reading this. By not only streaming leaked games, but also directly providing user links to circumvention software, Nintendo's proprietary cryptic keys are pirated, and pirated ROM repositories. Defendant is giving his viewers everything they need to pirate as many games as they wish.
Oh, man.
I can just see Nintendo fuming.
Yeah.
They're just mad. They're just furious. Ty says, I have to say, he's a funny guy. He's a troll, but he's a funny troll. Absolutely. I actually might go Cash App Keegan.
They're going to sue him a lot of money.
And people just keep covering it.
I hope so.
But that'll make it worse. For Nintendo, it's not about the money. They're a principal company.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, they're only suing Palworld for like $40,000 up front. Like, these guys are not doing it for the money. They're doing it because they want to just end your life. Listing 10 games it believes Keegan has streamed in a pre-release pirated form on an emulator, Nintendo is seeking $150,000 in damages with respect to each copyrighted work. So I'm guessing that means $150,000 per game. It's not currently clear whether it means 100.
And they said, what, 40 games? Is that what they said? Is that what you read?
So he said 10, and then they say, given that it claims he has streamed these games more than 50 times in total, it's not currently clear whether Nintendo means $150,000 per game, which would be at $1.5 million, or per stream, which would be $7.5 million. It also seeks $2,500 for each act of circumvention Keegan made, which it says he did each time he loaded unauthorized copies of the games into Ryujinx, Yuzu, or another emulator and streamed them.
Oh, man.
This man is a hero. I don't care.
They're gonna find him in his room on his bed.
We're gonna be reporting next week like he's been found dead.
Yeah,
he's been found
Mario
dead.
mushroom in his mouth.
He could not do this all day. It turns out. Number 16 in the headlines. Fan favorite GOG, Good Old Games, is launching game preservation program for classic titles. For the longest time, you can only find me using Steam, says the author of this article from Insider Gaming. He wouldn't touch another digital storefront or launcher if he could help it, but GOG inevitably has won him over. Now, he has a growing library of classic titles such as Jade Empire, The Suffering, and World in Conflict, all classics in their own right. Turns out their offerings continue to improve. GOG is launching the game preservation program to ensure titles like Fallout and Resident Evil remain available and functional for players years after release.
They also... GOG has an offline download. So
yes.
If you download a game from GOG...
There's no DRM.
Yeah, there's no DRM.
Yep.
The studio can't take that game away from you.
GOG is like a clear number 3 player in the PC marketplace.
I hope they
I love GOG. I've bought from GOG before.
Yeah.
They're phenomenal. So as of this writing, the program features 100 unique titles with more than 500 game improvements implemented by the restoration team. So basically, GOG has this team that is going into these games and future-proofing these games, making sure that they'll run. So, for example, there was a game that I used to love. It was called Star Wars Galactic Battlegrounds. And when I downloaded it, I actually ended up buying it from GOG because no one else really had it, if I remember correctly. Or I think the Steam version might have been broken, something like that. But so I bought it from GOG, and they actually, like there was a fix to it, like a mod that was recommended to me, and like it fixed the whole game. This was a while ago though, so I don't think this is actually related directly to this team, but it just shows that their preservation of PC gaming has been really important. Okay. So kudos to them. Yeah. Preservation's important. I'm a big advocate for game preservation.
You should probably skip just straight to 18.
Well, so it's number 17. Saudi Arabia is reducing their stake in Nintendo. That's good. It's reducing, so it's less. Yeah. Which is great. You are correct, though. We are running short on time, so we are going to go a little bit more. Number 18, ZeniMax workers are on strike. If the article wants to load, there it is. Hundreds of unionized workers have downed their tools in a bid to secure better provisions from their bosses. They're striking in response to Microsoft's remote working policy and decision to continue outsourcing quality assurance work. So that's, I think that's generally it. But
Yeah.
best of luck to them. I mean, especially the outsourcing. I don't like when Xbox or Activision or Bethesda don't outsource your work. Do everything in house.
I don't know how I feel about this next one.
Really? Number 19.
I love the actress.
Number 19, Sophie Turner is reportedly in talks to play Lara Croft in Prime Video's Tomb Raider series. So why don't you? How do you?
I just don't. I can't see her as Lara Croft. You know what I mean? Sophie Turner is a badass. She's great.
See, I think I could see it.
Yeah, I mean,
I
think she looks like it. I just. All right.
Well, like you said, she's a badass too. It's like Lara Croft's a badass.
Yeah, but she's not the shooter backflip badass. She's like a.
That's what they stunt doubles for, Deborah.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
I don't know. I could see it.
I'm gonna give it a try.
So I always knock them because that when they did that movie reboot like a couple years ago.
But even the actress they got for her, she looked like
that was a good casting. I thought, and I thought it was a good movie. It's a shame that they abandoned it because they teased like future movies and they just never made any. Mm-hmm. But that was like an actually good movie. I think this is actually from that movie. Yeah, I think. Yeah. So yeah, we'll see. But I'd be totally down with Sophie Turner. I think it'd be a good casting call personally. Number 20, Roblox is restricting kids under 13 from chatting outside of games. That sounds like something that should have been a thing for a long time, but here we are.
I don't know how they're doing that though, but
updates. Some new limitations for how users younger than 13 won't be able to DM players outside of games or experiences in Roblox. They'll need parental permission to be able to send the DMs. This change won't be fully implemented until the first quarter of 2025, though. Ty's not really a fan of Sophie Turner. Not crazy about her acting. Not crazy about her. She's no badass either. She's got a normal ass.
I just mean like she's like this. Like I can see her in a spy movie more so than an action.
I mean, Tomb Raider is a step removed in my opinion from spy. I think so, okay. Kind of. The way she's going around, like I think so, a little bit.
I guess.
So yeah. Number 21 in the headlines: Genshin Impact's coming out for Xbox this week. Very excited about that. Except for the fact that it's like over 100 gigabytes.
Yeah, I'm not surprised about that at all.
I don't know. I've never played it, so who knows. But yeah, it's over 100 gigabytes. Make sure you have room. 22. Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3's plot is complete, and the game is now entering full production.
Nice.
So yeah, very excited to play that game. That's probably like 2 years down the line.
Yeah, I was going to say 2026.
Probably. That's going to be a great year, 2026. Elder Scrolls and that. And probably other great games. Like it's not bad. Next Zelda game, 2026, probably.
Probably.
I mean, 2023.
No,
I'll be dead by the next Zelda game, probably.
The world's ending before 2026, so.
And our last story, number 23, Matt Gaetz becomes the first ever GoldenEye 64 character to serve in presidential cabinet. Representative Matt Gaetz from Florida, also known as Civilian 2 from GoldenEye 64, has been appointed Attorney General in the Trump administration, making him the first character in a game to hold a U.S. cabinet role. Honestly, quote, honestly, it's shocking, said one unnamed Russian GoldenEye guard. I never thought Gaetz would make it out of the game, let alone into government. But then again, it kind of makes sense. No matter how many times he runs into walls or gets shot, he just keeps going. That kind of durability is perfect for Washington. President Donald Trump unsurprisingly praised Gaetz' GoldenEye pedigree as key to his selection. Quote, I love the GoldenEye series. Just tremendous, Trump said from Mar-a-Lago. I consider Jaws, Odd Job, Baron Samedi, but Gaetz, he's the guy. Our little idiot who just keeps moving. A lot of people are idiots, but can be good people. And Matt really wants to show what an idiot with a head that big can do for our country. Have you seen his head? Just amazing. Meanwhile, GoldenEye director Mark Hollis expressed serious concerns about Gaetz' new role. Quote, we never intended for Civilian 2 to become this, Hollis said, visibly distressed. It all started with the big head mode Easter egg. Civilian 2 was already a mess, but when that oversized pixelated head showed up, it was haunting. Then it started showing signs of sentience. It began offering drugs to players it deemed cool. And there were reports of it luring younger players into what seemed like a sex trafficking scheme. We thought the game's decline would end that, but years later, we saw the same character running for office in Florida. And now, here he is, in a position of power. I have no idea what happens next. As of press time, President Trump continues to offer other controversial video game characters for cabinet roles, including Pyramid Head from Silent Hill for Secretary of the Interior, Hitler's Head in a Jar from Wolfenstein in an advisory role, and Kirby for a role not yet determined.
All right, I guess we'll see.
Never. What department do you think Kirby will take over?
I don't know. I can't even think of it.
We can't even begin to speculate. There's a lot of moving parts in the U.S. government.
Kirby's very versatile. You know what I mean? Like
absolutely,
so.
Yeah, for sure. That's the headlines for the weeks, folk. For the weeks. Jesus, it's been such a long day. Oh God, long week, long month, long year. Let's get into before we get out of here the Game Informer Memorial game releases for the week of November 18th. So I was making this list and I didn't realize that it's actually a pretty big week for Xbox. So out tomorrow, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 launches on Xbox Series consoles and PC with Game Pass. Genshin Impact launches on Xbox Series and Xbox One on November 20th with a bunch of Game Pass perks. And Stalker 2 Heart of Chernobyl launches on Xbox Series consoles and PC with a day one Game Pass launch on November 20th.
There's no advertisements for these.
Yeah.
At least for Flight Simulator and Stalker 2. Like, those are two.
Isn't it crazy?
Yeah, those are big games.
I have seen some Stalker 2 stuff, but it's all online stuff, admittedly.
Yeah, I haven't seen
Also, some influencers were talking about Microsoft Flight Simulator. Ty says Kirby will need to be head of NASA. Well, that's a conflict of interest, Ty, because Elon Musk has SpaceX. So they might close NASA. NASA might not be a thing in 4 years.
Well, I think that's why Kirby will be there to absorb NASA. Yeah.
Yeah, right, yeah. Other releases for the week: On Your Tail for the Switch and PC on November 21st, Total War Empire, iOS and Android, November 21st, and Spiritmancer for PS5, Switch, and PC on November 22nd. Dev, I'm going to go first. My pick of the week is going to be Stalker 2 Heart of Chernobyl. This is a game that we've been waiting for literally for years and years and years, and obviously the war in Ukraine stopped it, but
I know we usually try to do different ones, but I'm going to have to agree with you with Stalker 2. It's been a long road for that game. And
I mean, if you want to pick that, I'll pick Genshin Impact then.
I hope it's successful.
I think it will be
all the success. Yeah.
I think it will be. I mean, it's been a long road for them. I mean, they've had people that have died over there while making this game. So I'm excited to play it.
I think that should be. Is that going to be your next game after Zelda?
So right now I'm playing Zelda and Call of Duty kind of at the same time.
I feel like Call of Duty is going to be you're going to play Call of Duty for a while.
Yeah, well, so I got all the campaign achievements done for Call of Duty, so I'm done with the campaign officially.
Yeah.
Multiplayer, there's achievements for. I'm going to work on that. I'm going to be playing the multiplayer year round probably.
Yeah, you're playing that.
I do enjoy it. But there are zombies achievements, so that's kind of going to be something I'm focusing on. But right now, if you ask me my main focus, it is Zelda. Despite the fact that I'm a little underwhelmed, I wouldn't even say a little. I am underwhelmed by the game in terms of a gameplay loop. I'm gonna keep working through it, and I do aim to finish it. Believe it or not, by the time we hit the end of this year, I do need to have more games that came out this year that I've played. Because it's kind of crazy. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth took 2 months, 2.5 months, and then Octopath Traveler took 2.5 months. Which is fine. That's half the year right there. That's 5 months.
That's normal for an RPG, especially a JRPG, like finishing it. But you did 2 of them in 1 year, and that took out 4 months.
So, just to give you some perspective, let me see how many games have I played that came out this year. How many games this year came out that I've played this year.
Mm-hmm.
Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection came out this year, if you count that. I don't know if you do. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I did play Botany Manor this year, which came out this year.
That's a good game.
Hellblade 2. Did play that as well. Open Roads came out this year. Played that. AIM Labs. I don't know if that came out this year, but I have it in my log as it came out this year. Maybe it came to Xbox this year. On Game Pass, I did Little Kitty Big City. That was a nice little completion that came out this year. Still Wakes the Deep also came out this year. So there are games. But, obviously, Final Fantasy and Octopath took literally 5 months away from me. 2 games alone.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping by the end, when we do our show on in January, our year wrap up in January, I'm hoping that I'm gonna have some more 2024 games to talk about. That's my goal. So yeah, I don't know what my next game's gonna be after Zelda and Call of Duty, but we'll see. Anyways, yeah. So right now that's what I'm playing. I know you're playing a lot of Pokemon TCG Pocket right now. You're still playing Pikmin, I believe.
Yeah, and I'm going to be playing Darksiders Genesis after that. So
very, very cool. All right. Anyway, so yeah, we're gonna get out of here. This has been the Game Room Podcast. Thank you to everyone hanging out with us here. Please like and subscribe on your way out if you can. If you're not watching us live, we do try to do the show every Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, give or take a few minutes. You can follow me on Blue Sky at RomeW. Keep it very simple. Blue Sky's great. I'm pretty much not on Twitter anymore, so I think I tell you every week to take it out of the description.
yeah, I actually haven't. So you got to send me your Blue Sky thing.
Yeah, I know. I will.
You're officially off of Twitter though. I think last year you said you were cleaning up.
So I'm still cleaning. I'm not interacting on Twitter anymore. There are a few people that are still straggling, but like I'm hoping, my goal is to, like, by the end of this year to not have Twitter on my phone. X on my phone. It's X now. Like it's not Twitter anymore. And it's been really funny because there's also like a lot of discourse. Like, so everyone's leaving, people that are leaving X to go to Blue Sky. People are like, "Oh, you're going into an echo chamber." It's just like, I don't care. It's like we don't have to talk to you. Like, you guys are trolls, and like there are people that I follow like in the wrestling scene. Like the one guy, like he's a black guy, and like
told me.
Yeah, and they just call him the N-word.
Yeah.
Call him monkey. It's just like, okay, and he's like, yeah, I'm making a Blue Sky. Like, I'm fucking done. And then he goes over to Blue Sky, and people are just like,
welcome.
It's like, you like that's the thing. Like, you don't have to disagree. You can disagree about things.
Yeah.
But like when it comes to morals, that's not a matter of disagreement. It's just a difference in morals. So it's like, yeah, like X is terrible now, and like Blue Sky's feed works way better. But I'm gonna keep praising Blue Sky until everybody gets on it, because it's really good. But anyways, join our Discord, and we'll see you later. Really?
Yeah. Like, down here, I canceled them out, but there was 14 notifications of us stuttering.
I saw it a little bit on the video.
Yeah. And it was the same thing last week.
You should go to PC Richard and talk to Jackie's dad. He could probably hook you up.
I want to see what